Welcome to another exciting edition of Smell the Coffee. It's a brand new week, brand new Monday, and we couldn't be more excited to be entertaining you and educating you on some of the stories that made waves during the weekend. My name is Aina Raizakoyo alongside Glenora Shupura. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing very well. It was a good weekend. I feel a little bit rested.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, we can never get enough rest.
What were you doing that you can't get enough rest?
Sleeping. I'm kidding.
I bet you were reading. Friday, you're such a
nerd. Eh?
Yeah.
On Friday, I was actually with a friend and we just hung out. You're just talking till like maybe 4 or 5.
Okay. Was this like a physical get together or
yes,
were you talking
exactly.
on the phone?
Physical get together, but just talking, just
nice.
hanging out and having
just
snacks.
catching up.
Yeah, and you miss that. You actually realize we don't do much of this anymore now that we're adulting.
What are you currently reading now? What should I read?
What should you read? I don't know. There's a book called Sapiens. I just forgot who the author is, but somebody recommended it to me, and I'm gonna get it over the weekend.
Okay.
But if it's nice, I would say you should get that. I like the book that I got you. What do you
Yes,
think of it?
5 a.m. Club.
Yeah.
I've not started reading it because I was reading another book called Abundance. So I'm still with Abundance. But what I've realized, I actually don't like self-help books. I'm not interested. I think I would be interested in reading like actual storybooks where I follow the storyline.
Exactly.
Maybe those are the books that I should start reading
I
now.
totally agree with you. Somebody said to me that we have moved away from a culture of having habits. Hobbies, actually, not habits, things that you do for fun. And even the books that we are reading, it's more, this is a self-help book, this is going to improve me, and etc. But we're not doing anything just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
So even when we're reading, also, not that I'm saying don't read self-help, but also find something that you just enjoy reading, whether it's romance or adventure, etc. So I'm with you on that one. I'm also looking for like African authors that have like books, because I don't really know much or a lot of books from African authors, and I want to get into that.
The best book that I read was a South African author. I hope I'm saying this name correct. Nervous Condition. I really enjoyed that book. The story was good. It was a girl who grew up in the apartheid or post-colonial era, and the books basically just highlights, what is this? I'm losing my train of thought now.
Post-colonial era.
It highlights basically, the work that we do, if I can put it in layman's term, like the roles, gender roles. Yes, it highlights gender roles. In that era,
wow.
Like this girl was not allowed to go to school, but her brother was allowed to go to school. She was told to be a homemaker, just sit at home and let the brother get the education because the brother was the provider.
And we don't even understand how these things shape our current society.
Yes.
Because these men who were allowed to do these things and their sisters were not, are now raising families and so forth. So it's
a good, what I appreciated about that book is that it's a story about Glenora and Glenora's life, but I could pinpoint these lessons out. Like,
this is what is happening.
So those are the type of books that I am interested in reading.
I'm definitely going to take a look at that one. We are going shopping, right, this weekend?
We should.
So
we should go book shopping, actually.
Yes. So I'm definitely going to look at that one, as a consideration.
All right. Please do let us know in the comment section what you are reading. What do you recommend we read? Because it's always good to just develop yourself mentally and intellectually. All right, we will be back after the break. Stay with us.
Attention kids, we have some exciting news for you. We are back, and this year we are planning on going big. So listen up. If you are in grade 3, grade 2, grade 1 or pre-primary, we are bringing your free school workbooks to you soon. This is all you need to know about where you can find your books. Books will be available for free in Republican Street Sale newspapers and all Namibian Sun newspapers. And for all pre-primary kids out there, your books will be delivered to your school in all 14 regions of Namibia. And there's more. Pre-primary books will also be printed in 9 different languages. Check out when your book will be available from the schedule right here. That's not all. Our free online school is there to help you along the way with video lessons and more books to download. You can also follow along on NTV every Monday to Friday from 9:30 to 11:30 for your daily online school lesson. We thank all our sponsors who are helping to build a brighter future for Namibia. Contact us at info@acdtrust.com and follow us on Instagram.
Well, in our news segment this morning, social media was abuzz over the weekend because Didi is back at it again. Remember, we reported that Didi had assaulted Casey, the former girlfriend, and she filed a civil lawsuit against him, and then he settled the lawsuit. She was claiming abuse, that, you know, Didi has abused her, and then he claimed that no, people are just trying to ruin his reputation, etc. But at the end of the day, he did end up settling that lawsuit. Now, recently, over the weekend, a video of evidence actually surfaced on social media where Didi was seen abusing Casey, beating her, pushing her, kicking her, etc. Now, according to CNN, Didi apologized on Sunday for physically assaulting his then-girlfriend, Casey Ventura, 2 days after CNN published exclusive hotel surveillance video from 2016 in which Didi appeared to grab, shove, drag, and kick her. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my action in that video, he said in a video statement posted on Instagram. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now, he added. I went and sought out professional help. I got into going to therapy and going to rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and his grace. I'm sorry, but I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry. That's what he said.
Okay, who is he sorry to? You know, I watched that video, and he kept on not even looking at the camera. He was like, you know, which are telltale sign of ingenuity. So I'm just like, who is he apologizing to? Are we Cassie?
He's apologizing to everyone in the world but Cassie.
Yes, are we Cassie? I mean, he didn't grab me and, you know, shove me and do those things. Why is he coming on a public platform to say sorry? And he's not even mentioning her name in that video. He doesn't even say, I am sorry for what I did to Cassie. He doesn't even say, I am sorry for being so violent or whatever. He does not, he does not acknowledge the deed itself. But beyond that, the video that was published on, I think it came out on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Showed word for word what Cassie outlined in her lawsuit that she filed against him, which is settled, by the way, within 24 hours, guys.
Yeah.
And then he came out and said that people are spreading false rumors about him. They're saying allegations, horrible allegations against him, which are untrue, and that he is seeing that they are trying to get a quick paycheck out of him. So, and now this video comes out, so meaning these were true, right?
These were true.
So meaning you are only apologizing because you got caught.
Definitely. Let's move on.
Let's move on because I'm very angry, guys. Let's move on. In some light news, okay, this is light. Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher have no plans to leave their wealth to their children. Despite having a combined estimate net worth of $275 million, the pair don't seem to have any plans to leave it to their children. The celebrity couple have 2 children together, 9-year-old daughter Wyatt Isabel and 7-year-old son Dimitri. Now, back in 2018, Kutcher appeared on an episode of Dax Shepard's podcast, Armchair Expert. He told the host that neither of their kids will be having a trust set up for them.
Okay,
I think we have the wrong picture there. But technically, these two celebrity couple have decided that, you know what, even if our combined net worth is 275 million US
who
dollars,
are they leaving it to?
they are going to give their wealth to charity.
And their children, they must create their own
They're
wealth.
Mazula, my dear. They're Mazula like the rest of us.
Oh, colleagues, don't make your children suffer.
I also think they're being a bit too harsh.
They're being so harsh.
Isn't that the one-up thing that we all need? Like, you're born to
That's
rich
why.
parents.
That's
so
why
that
you're
you can-
working hard so that your children can have it lighter.
Exactly.
Why are you going to spoil other people's children in charity, but yours aren't?
Yes, and my dear. No, so they said.
But
they're not
I
going
guess
to,
also their
they're not
children.
building a trust for them. Nothing.
But their children, I think, have the resources right now, and they're exposed to opportunities to create their own wealth.
And also, the father did say that if ever they have a business idea, they must pitch it to him, and then he will invest.
But what if they are not business savvy?
Exactly. Some of these things, like, what if
You
I don't want
can't
to
just
become a
say
business
because
person?
you are a business person and you created this wealth. Now, me as your child, I must also be a business person and I
What
must
if I
create
just want
this
the
wealth.
soft life?
Also, not everyone is called out to be wealthy. Some people are meant to be billionaires, some people are not meant.
Maybe.
In the world, there is poor people and rich people. Maybe you're just not called. No matter how hard you work, it's just not
I hear
for you.
I totally
And
hear you.
like,
I totally
I
hear
think
you.
it's very unfair. Leave your wealth to your children. If they blow it up, let them go on
It's
the
on
TV
them.
show that says, I blew it.
We'll be right back after this to introduce to you guys a new segment.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nhcom.na.
Now, Smell the Coffee has a brand new segment, and I am so excited for it. It's titled Intimate Insights. I like that already. What do you say?
No, it's good. Tell us about Intimate Insights
Well,
first, then
this
we can
new
go into
segment
it.
is where you, the viewer, gets to connect with us here on Smell the Coffee to share your struggles, dilemmas, and questions, and we will try to answer them. But if we can't, we will contact a professional to assist. So the viewer, if you have any dilemmas, struggles, anything that you're struggling with, you just send it to us on our social media platforms, and then the next day or within that week, we respond to it. And if we can't respond to the question or the dilemma, we get in a professional to assist you.
Well, on that note, in our very first dilemma for this show comes from an anonymous who watches this show, and this is what they say. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 3 years. He suddenly became very territorial, wants to know where I am all the time, and at times ask for photos to prove that I am where I claim to be. I don't know where this is coming from, but it's starting to annoy me. This is not the type of relationship I want. What should I do?
The key word there, this is not the type of relationship I want. Somebody said to me that, you know, the love that's meant for you, or the person that's meant for you, you need to feel safe. You need to feel safe. You don't need to question it. It's just ease. So you already, I think your subconscious is already telling you, like, you don't want this and this does not feel okay. First of all, somebody who needs to know your whereabouts 24/7 does not sound like a stable person. you don't want to be involved with someone like that in any case.
Yeah.
So I feel like in relationships, we tolerate things that we would not tolerate with our friendships. If you, Aina, my friend, was checking up on me 24/7 like that, like, yeah, Glenn, are you at work? Please send me a picture of it. You know what I'm saying?
It's very irritating.
Yes, and I will call you out on it, but because it's a relationship, we tolerate it. Because it's a romantic relationship, I meant, we tolerate it. But like I said, a good relationship needs to feel safe.
Yeah.
Needs to always feel safe. And if there's always questions, then you are maybe not with the right person.
Yeah, I mean, and oftentimes when we seek advice, we already know what it is that we want for ourselves. She already knows. I mean, this question already has an answer. She or he says that this is not the type of relationship I want. So that's your answer. Otherwise, please do let us know in the comment section, what should Anonymous do? Please leave your advice for Anonymous. I'm sure Anonymous will be reading the comments, and you would have contributed to their well-being of their relationship, and also for them just to move forward in their life. But nonetheless, moving on to other things, I interviewed Kelao Uiras from Geluk Psychology, and we spoke about how to deal with grief. Today we are talking about how to deal with losses and how to cope in difficult times, in times of grief. We have a psychological counselor from Geluk Psychology to help us learn how to deal and how to support one another during the time of loss. Her name is Kelao Uiras. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are most welcome. Talk to us about, the steps on how we can deal with loss and during our grieving process.
Okay, so I just want to always start off, like, grief is a very personal thing, right?
Yes.
So the way I grieve and the way that you grieve is going to be very different. There are steps and, things that we go through. For example, there's, depression, there is bargaining, there is, anger when it comes to, the steps of grief. But again, the main thing is that it's very personal. And also a lot of the times I always tell my clients that the time that it takes for you to grieve and mourn over someone is going to be different from the time that I have to grieve and mourn over someone. So once we can understand that already, we take a lot of pressure off of ourselves in terms of, like, okay, I'm supposed to be over this. I'm supposed to be at this point. I'm supposed to do this. Those like absolute terms, supposed to, should have. It's a lot of pressure on us. So if you can understand that it's very different and it's very personal, then you will be able to kind of go through the process in the way that you need to go through the process. Yeah.
Now that we have an understanding of the process being very personal and is basically, let's say, a tailored experience for every one of us, let's bring the conversation back to Geluk Psychology. Tell us about the work that you do and why it is important to establish, such a work base in our community.
Okay, so Geluk Psychology is a private psychology practice. So what that means that, we do a different kind of like psychological services, right?
Yeah.
That means we do individual services, individual psychotherapy, we do group psychotherapy. Obviously, support groups is what I'm talking about. We do psychometric testing. We do community-based, clinics and all of that. But specifically, the reason why we chose a grief support group, and there are other support groups that we have as well. But one of the reasons why we chose grief is that we realized that as we dealt with the clients that we deal with, grief is such a heavy topic.
Yeah.
And it's always important to, feel like you have a support group of people that you can come to where you feel like, okay, I'm going through this, you're also going through this. We can kind of connect and help each other on that ground. So that's where we decided, okay, in terms of support groups, and support groups, you can really come up with anything. We chose to have a grief support group because, like I said, grief can also be very isolating and like lonely. a lonely process. Like I said, because it's so personal, it can be very isolating and lonely. So the fact that, you know, while you're still going through your personal journey, there are other people that, you know, there's some similarities that we go through, and like, okay, I can connect on that and I understand that. And just knowing that I'm not alone in this process definitely always helps you feel, you know, achieved, and just that the other people that understand what you've been going through.
Yeah, I want to find out from you, this support group, is it only for those that are currently grieving, or is it for those that who have also lost their loved ones, maybe that are struggling to overcome?
You know, grief. I like to say, like, grief doesn't only mean that, you know, you've lost someone today or in the past week or two, right? Grieving means that you've lost. There's a loss. Right, so it doesn't necessarily only mean that, you know, I'm grieving somebody that I've lost 2 weeks ago. It literally can mean if it was 3 years ago and I'm still struggling and I'm still, you know, I need that kind of support. Anyone who is in the process and feels like they've had this loss of anything really, loss of an achievement, loss of a dream. The point is that you are in a grieving process and you just need that support, right? So we have it at our practice, which is in Cederhof. It's in 35 Alwyn Street, right? So in Cederhof, it's very close to the Triple J's like service station, so it's just around there. It's a yellow building. When I mean yellow, I mean you will not miss this yellow building. It's so yellow. Yeah. So yeah, it's just like I said, grieving. I don't want people to think that it's only just because I lost someone today. It's literally about today, 10 years ago, not just loss of somebody or someone who's close to me, but loss of anything.
Yeah. And I like that you clarified that, because that was initially going to be, you know, my next question, to say that what if I've lost even a dream job maybe that I've wanted. And really shout out to you for, you know, including anything, because we are definitely grieving a lot of things, and sometimes it's not people, sometimes it's things, material things that we hold dear to our hearts. Moving on then to my next question, why do you think it is then impactful to have a support group instead of one-on-one sessions?
You know, I think both work in the same way, right? It's very important also to have an individual, you know, based, like, if an individual session where you have to, because you can then, you know, go into the intricacies and the little tiny nicks and crooks of what exactly you've lost and what that means to you and the frustration that comes with it. But like I said, the support group, it just makes you feel and makes you realize that you are not alone in the process that you're going through. So while you are still going through your personal journey, so that if that means like you have your own therapist, you have, even if it means you're going to church for it and you have your pastor that you're speaking to, right? And you're talking about the personal little, you know, nooks and crannies that you're talking about and the frustration that comes with it. It's always very supporting. And I keep saying supporting because it's a support group. But it's always, it just takes a lot off you to know that there are people that have the same struggles and you're not alone. You don't feel isolated. You don't even feel like an alien, because a lot of the times, like I said, it is very alienating. It's very lonely to go through grief, especially, like, for example, if, let me use a simple example, right? If I've lost someone, but I have a brother, right? And we've lost the same uncle, for example, right? He might get over it a lot quicker. And then I will feel pressured to also get over it, right? Because it's my brother, it's our same uncle, he should get over it. Why am I not over it? And the fact that I can come to a place where I can be open and admit that I'm still struggling, right? And you can be vulnerable without the judgment, without the judgment from, sometimes, you know, families and friends, we mean the best, we mean well. When we say, like, just, you know, just get through it and be strong. And I mean, we mean well,
we
you know.
Definitely do.
But I mean, if you're really in the moment and you're struggling, if I tell you be strong,
I think that's the worst kind of advice.
It does the opposite of what you think it does, right?
Yes, true.
So if you can come to a place where you can be very honest and vulnerable and be like, I should be strong, but I'm struggling, you know. And I know that you have, you know, feel the same way. Sarah and Bob feel the same way.
Thank you so much for watching our show this morning. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. And on that note, it's all our love, all our light. Have a lovely Monday.